Super excited for Oktoberfest. It's a great celebration. We've always had some really nice sponsors to help us put on this event, and we started it over a decade ago, and it seems to get bigger every year. And so I like to think of it as a party for our community, and so to be able to come out and support our women's program and then our program it's a fun day in Omaha. So looking forward to our competition as well. Pretty good team, Final Four finalists last year. And we actually had them for Oktoberfest in 2024, so excited to have the Pioneers back. They're well-coached, spirited team, and we look forward to a good match on Friday.
More questions? Yeah, I guess the last time you guys went at it, it was a frustrating match from your standpoint in that you felt like you dominated, but they really hit you on counters and capitalized. Knowing that that's kind of what they do, how focused you kind of have to be in defending in transition and making sure they can't punish you for the minimal changes they do.
Yeah, it's a funny sport, right? It happens that way. And, the match that we're talking about last year, you're right. I thought that we had a lot of the ball. I thought we kept the ball in their half, but they made us pay in a couple of, I think the first goal was off a quick transitional free goal kick. But yeah, there's different facets to the game, and it doesn't matter if you possess the ball for 85 minutes, but if you don't defend the other 5 minutes, you might end up on the losing end of things. So I thought that day we thought that we should have come out with the 3 points, and so yeah, we got to be focused in all facets of the game to be able to pull out a result on Friday.
To that end, that was kind of how the Tulsa match went. They kind of sat back in the second half and just tried to counterpunch you. It seemed like Element and Cavalcante and Buddy and Savage were all kind of on point. Do you see growth in that back line in terms of just handling that kind of surprise surge or whatever when it feels like you guys are in control of the match and the team's countering you?
Absolutely, and when you mentioned that back line and Huddy, we have some young guys back there. But I thought against Tulsa, especially in that second half, those guys looked like veterans. The way that they defended and the way that they allowed us to have multiple attacks because of their positioning and the work that they did defensively. So it's important for us to be able to have balance when we're on the attack, and so. That's something that we'll focus on Friday against Denver.
What are you looking to see out of your team on the offensive end and having a little bit more success?
I think at times this season we've become a little bit stagnant in the final third. There's got to be more movement. It's got to be, how can I impact this play type mentality, right? Rather than, I think he's going to play this to the 10, or maybe I should come underneath. Like, it seemed to me at times we were a little bit hesitant in the final third. And so whether or not you'll get the ball if you make a run shouldn't be the question. The question should be, after I make my run, whether I receive this ball or not, did I open something up for somebody else? And so I think our attitude around the 18-yard box needs to change to that fact. I'm going to make this run. It'll be great if I get the ball, but if I don't, I'm hoping that by making this run, I open up another opportunity for one of my teammates. So we have to be more willing and forthcoming to make some movement and then look for some opportunities to come by because of our movements.
Characteristically, what are you seeing from, especially the freshmen back there, that is just allowing them to kind of, that's a position where they can be isolated pretty quickly based on your style, especially. How are they figuring out where to be, when to step, what to cover, just the plays they're making back there to kind of give you the ball back?
Yeah, it's a fast learning curve, and again, I know I've touched on it multiple times in the last month and a half about how short our preseason is, and with these guys being freshmen, you're kind of thrown into the deep end, right? And like you said, at times they're isolated, one versus one, but But I thought they've risen to the occasion quite well. Like any freshman, we might be a little bit quieter at that point in our lives, and so I'm trying to encourage them to help each other out by communicating, help each other out by defending as a unit rather than as an individual, help each other out by covering for one another when you're going up for aerial battles. So I think they're coming along nicely. We'll just continue to work with them, but we do understand that our season is fast and furious. Here we are, 4 matches in, and I feel like we started 2 weeks ago.
You get the next 4 here at home. How important is this period going to be to get your group into a routine and get right?
Yeah, no, especially after going the 3 road matches to start the season. We were excited about coming back home to have a 5-game streak, and with Tulsa being last week. So it's huge. It's important. We got to get momentum. We got to get some jailing, if you will. And what better place to do it than Morrison Stadium in front of the best fans in the country? So.
Do you see anything attacking-wise that you can build off of from Tulsa, even though you didn't score a goal? I mean, you had them underwater most of the second half. I imagine there's some good things happening there to do that, even if you're not punching one home.
No, for sure. I've always said this. In our sport, if you're not creating chances, if you're not being dangerous, then I think that maybe there's a little bit to worry about. But if you're creating chances and you're just not being effective enough to put them away, those goals will come. And so you can definitely use it as a springboard going into Friday's match, knowing that we were on the front foot in that second half against Tulsa, and we created some good chances. We can use that as a springboard to go into Friday and hopefully knocking back a couple. So.
Anything further for John?
Yeah, we talked about the young guys in the back. There are some young guys up front too. Aiden Kakuska, Batista Rossi, he almost had a crazy bicycle kick goal in the Tulsa match. What have you seen out of the young guys, especially, Rossi's a sophomore, he's a first-year program, that are kind of having to answer some of the same questions the back line's having to answer in terms of figuring everything out for the first time.
Yeah, no, these guys are good additions. Quite frankly, I was very impressed by Kakuska's performance in the second half. I thought he hit a different gear, and he looked dangerous on that left side. Rossi is a physical type of player that takes no prisoners. Yeah, that bicycle would have been nice. He did hit one during the week at practice during one of our training sessions, and I was kidding with him that, you're not going to hit that in the game. And lo and behold, he actually almost did. So I'm glad he tried to prove me wrong. So.
Thank you, John.
All right, guys. Thanks. All right, man.